Hello and welcome to the SC Playbook podcast, the 5th episode of the 2026 preseason, proudly brought to you by Mortgage Choice SCW. I'm your host, Tim Williams, and it is, ladies and gentlemen, Bedlam in Supercoach land, the biggest change since I can remember, bigger than the boost, bigger than the flex. We have a new stats provider. All hell has broken loose in Supercoach land. I'm one part excited, one part nervous, another part definitely a bit confused, working out a lot right now. Here to do it with us, as always, the SC Spy. Spy, how are you, mate?
I'm all over the place. No, that's not quite true. I've sort of prepped for a few different things over the last week. Had a bit of time up my sleeve at night, and I'm like, let's check out some things, see where we're going. So I think I've got my side somewhat sorted, and then 12 minutes ago, they've officially confirmed something around runs, so that throws me out again a little bit. But you know what? We'll just sort it out, boys. Doesn't matter. You just go with the flow. It's not Friday night footy just yet, so it's all good.
What we are going to do on this show is we're going to let you know all the changes, what it means, the winners, losers, all that good stuff. Spy, before I introduce our next guest, the fans wait with bated breath. How'd you go in your Oztag final last week?
Oh, you know what? I feel like right now, and what I did feel after the game, you'll figure out quickly how we went, how Ricky Stewart must feel every week. And I'm going to choose the 50% of the time Ricky chooses to stay silent and say we spoke about it in-house and we'll be better next time. That's all I'm saying.
I can't wait for the next tag final for the inevitable blow-up, the Ricky Stewart blow-up.
We're due now. Let's just say if I had a press conference straight after, half the side might have been scrapped and probably wouldn't come back. So
bit of a New England Patriots sort of performance, was it?
Yeah. No, the defence wasn't that good the other side, so at least they had an excuse, you know.
Would you have retained your spot, though?
I was all right. Yep.
Sure.
I was all right.
Honest reflection.
Sure that. Yep. Also with us on today's show, look, if I've been in overdrive, this he's levelled up. And when a stat system changes, on a show that you do around stats, there's one bloke that you want on. It's the random stats guy. And there are some random stats floating around. How are you?
I am, well, as you mentioned, it's been absolutely crazy. I mean, Payne has signed with the Rabbitohs, but this, for me, is the biggest story of the preseason. I mean, as people who will be listening, they're spreadsheet warriors as well. All of that has been blown up. All the data that you've kept in, all the storage, all the photos of family and stuff you've deleted just to keep this spreadsheet still going, all for nothing now, because the stats have completely changed. We're looking at a totally different picture, totally new picture. So many people have been trying to repaint the Mona Lisa. It's not that easy. You can't find run meters or runs, and now the runs have changed. So all the previous spreadsheets that have been rechanged throughout the weekend has changed, and everything's changing. So for me, I'm not going to change or make my team until I'm sitting inside Allegiant Stadium. There's 40 minutes left to go in the Super League match. That's when I'll start making my team, just in case Supercoach throw another curveball before.
I like how we got the cool, calm, collected Ricky Stewart, and then Rando's delivered the blow up. Ricky
Someone's
Stewart.
got to blow up. Good cop, bad cop, I think.
Yeah.
Can I actually add, because I am good sport, the other team were far too good for us. If they're listening, well deserved, boys. But geez, we gave you some presents and you know it.
Yeah,
mate. The media's already clipped up the first part. It doesn't seem like you've been honest at all.
Coaching is a tough gig. I get it now.
Yeah, fair enough. Wait, are you the coach or the player?
I'm captain coach.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Also with us today, as always, a bloke who hasn't given two hoots about the changes to Supercoach. Not because he doesn't love Supercoach. He's fully invested, but he's been a little bit preoccupied with a certain P. Haas signing in news. Matty the Waterboy, have you calmed down yet from the Payne Haas to the Bunnies news?
You know what? I'm actually frightened about this whole 10-day cooling off period. All I can read is articles online that Broncos are going to offer him a 5-year deal, blah, blah, blah. Reynolds is in his ear, so I'm not going to be able to... I actually haven't even got excited yet because I just need this 10-day period to get by and then we're good.
We've got an SC Playbook chat with a few of us, and Maxie Bryden sent through to it. I was out and about doing something. He goes, guys, someone needs to get a post up around the Haas signing news. And I was like, okay, seems a little bit dramatic, Maxie. And I went to Twitter, punched in Cleese Haas signing. I'm not even shitting you. Wow. And there was nothing. And I'm like, it couldn't be Payne Haas, could it? And then I was like... typed it in, Payne Haas the Bunnies. I just went, you are kidding me.
I was at home and I got a push notification from Daily Telegraph. So I went on to Code Sports and it didn't reveal who the team was. Payne Haas signs with another team. I'm like, what the hell? And then it said the headline was signed with the Sydney club. So I very much expected it to say Roosters.
Yeah.
For some reason, I also expected it to say Tigers. I don't know why, but those two teams were in my head. And when it said South Sydney, I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It's just crazy. Like nobody woke up on Sunday and thought that would happen.
Well, we went and did our 7-hour bloke podcast, dropped on Monday, and I had them. I think they had Premiership Smokies this year, let alone next year when they have Payne Haas. So they're locked and loaded for 202027. They can have their injury crisis. It won't matter. Payne Haas will pick up the slack.
Exactly right. Yeah. Next year's gonna be awesome.
Guys, on today's show, we're going to deep dive into the new stat system, what it looks like, who are the winners and losers, everything you need to know. We've got 8 games worth of TLT to dissect, the major talking points around Supercoach from those. Then Spy's brand new team reveal, overhauled with the new changes to come in. Another one, guys, we're going to scrap our club-by-club guides on the SC Playbook podcast throughout the preseason. We got through about 6 off the back of this stats change, and we've got cheapies to come. We've got Vegas games, TLTs. So much to get through that, and there's other podcasts during the week. We'll touch on them in other shows, but as far as the SC Playbook podcast goes, we need to get our heads around this system. We'll be talking about it for weeks to come, I'm sure. Now, no Discord plugs, no sub plugs, any of that for at least 25 minutes. We're going to get straight into it this week, but they will be here. Don't you worry about that. The new stat system, what has happened? Supercoach has moved its stats from Fox Sports to NRL as the official stats provider. What does this mean? Firstly, we're going to get significantly faster updates to the game. Huge win, guys. Supercoaches have complained about it for years. Massive thumbs up. Hopefully within an hour, 2 hours of games finishing, we'll get updates. They'll be there. None of this stuff where a game's played Thursday night, updates Sunday afternoon. Much better for loopholing. You know what? Screw loopholing. Just general enjoyment. It's just better to know.
And I think one update. So once it's done, it's done.
One update. Yeah. So
nice.
There's no sitting there guessing, which is fantastic. It's also easier for the casual viewer. So determining key stats such as try assist and line break assist. We'll get to more of that shortly, but not necessarily something that I love about it. I like the system that they've had in a lot of ways, but I must admit to the casual viewer, it's black and white. You know who's getting what, and it's very good for the game as a whole in that sense. Spy, I'll start with you, but mate, your general thoughts on the changes to the stat system before we get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, myself and Wilson Carlos and yourself have ongoing battles once a year about how try assist should be determined. I don't think anyone's arguing that the traditional try assist is whoever passed it last or whoever kicked it last in soccer, whatever it may be. But I loved how Fox Sports basically gave it to the person with the most influence and created the overlap, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter how they got it anymore because we don't have to go through it. That saves my DMs a little lashing.
Mate, Spy Talk this season is going to be... It's going to be cut in half.
Yeah, I'll find something new, don't you worry.
He was saying the R word, redundancy.
Big cash settlement. Where'd we get to there? For the enjoyment of the game, I really liked the variety that came from anyone being able to get the try assist, but I move on pretty quick. It is what it is. That's what we're dealing with now, is what it is. Looking at the numbers, it's not like it's blown the comp wide open either. Like, it's not like Tommy Trbojevic and fullbacks cut in half.
Yeah.
They lose a little bit. They'll lose a little bit of value potentially, and then you can pick them up and they're still relevant. So it's not going to change everything, but there'll be at times in games where I'll go, oh, that's super frustrating when someone beats 12 blokes, front flips someone, passes it 30 metres, and the bloke catches it and passes 1 metre and gets a try assist.
Yeah.
Extreme example, but that will happen at times. But
Front flip included.
yeah, absolutely. Well, it did happen once. Warriors game, I think.
Nathan
Fane?
Yeah. Not intentionally trying to flip the person. I think he just grabbed
So
it.
good,
No
though.
try assist for Nathan Friend when he backflipped off.
He would have got nothing.
No, not even a
Unbelievable.
contribution back then, I would imagine.
Not back then, he wouldn't have, no.
Yeah. But I can understand why they're doing it, and I'll roll with the times, so all good.
Yeah. I'm with you, mate. For what it's worth, I love where it goes to the best player. I just think he's awarded the best player and the most influence. But as you said, it's the same for everyone. We'll get used to it very quickly. We move on, whatever. Yep. Rando, your general overview to the changes.
I think, I'm for the changes. I think they're great. I think the new stats update is really good. The only frustration is the lateness, like very close to the season being done. We've got prices that portray the old Supercoach scores. So I guess those are the main frustrations. But totally for it. I think, the amount of frustration you get seeing like maybe there is a sweep runner, but the centre does do a bit of draw and pass to finish off that play and not getting that assist is a bit of a downside. But as you mentioned, everyone's going to feel it. It's not like anyone's going to be disadvantaged by that try assist change. It's just the new rules, and get on with it.
Geez, I love when you wear your SC Playbook shirt on
Thank
the
you,
t-shirt,
mate.
Rando. Our sales at their website, they go through the roof for our tees.
White shirts help my tan at least, yeah.
You need to get commish for Playbook.
I have demanded
sales.
that, yeah. I have demanded.
We'll
talk off air.
Yeah, Navy Blue. Navy, this was not an intentional plug either. Just came to mind glaring into Rando's bulging
My eyes
chest.
are up here, mate, not down the
sorry,
humble.
mate.
Crazy.
Every time. scplaybook.com.au/shop. All right. You touched on it there, Rando, but will player prices be adjusted? The answer is no. This is my big gripe with it. Essentially, the prices which launched with the team picker, with round one, with the official game launch for Australia Day, they are based on the Fox Sports system, which, in a nutshell, means that every single player in the game is priced incorrectly. For News Corp's sake and Supercoach and those at headquarters, I know there's reasons like T's and C's and all sorts of things of why they couldn't do it. If they could, I'm sure they would. They reckon they can't. This is annoying because we've already got a list at scplaybook.com.au which will be updated with a stat that we've just had around run meters shortly with player prices, but it's essentially we can see straight away players that are massively underpriced, players that are massively overpriced across a lot of the content creators, etc. There's going to be plenty come out over the next days and weeks leading into round one. Again, we're all in the same boat, deal with it, but this is a gripe.
It's it gives opportunity though. Like if you're looking to go,
Yeah,
well,
for
it gives
nerds like us who are
opportunity.
going to look at every single number.
The casuals are super
It's
fucked.
great for us.
All the casuals won't notice and they'll kill us. So, yeah, look, I'm kind of, that's how I am. Like, if they can't do it, they can't do it. So it is what it is. Should they maybe have thought ahead a bit better? Probably. But, again, it is what it is. It's not crazy dramatic stuff. And people might get sucked in as well. And we'll probably get to this or I'll mention it now. But you might get sucked into picking all these blokes who are like undervalued and stuff and forget to pick some guns. Like you still need guns to win Supercoach.
I'm going to start Moses Sully and he's going to average about 20. And I'm just going to go, why did you look into the numbers so much?
Yeah, but again, my answer to a lot of it, it is what it is. I'll roll on and we'll just attack mode into what we've got in front of us. So
For sure.
try to take advantage of it.
It's not changing. So, and as you said, Spy, huge opportunities and, another shameless plug, but this is where SC Playbook comes in. We've already crunched a bunch of numbers. We were doing the Bloke podcast the other day when it dropped, Rando, and you were on deck to help out and you were crunching numbers, putting articles out, and that's what we're here to do. So hopefully we can make it easy and that, people have similar information and we can make informed choices off the back of it.
Just a quick side note, I punched in scplaybook.com.au/shop because I've never been on there. And it's
you.
My big melon just bouncing out at me. So
We should do some A/B testing on that.
Yeah, so,
See if sales fly.
Spy's repping white, I'm repping the Nave. We haven't sold any white, so under eye. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. They're flying off the
I didn't
rack,
expect it. I'm like, Jesus, me.
Yeah, no, you are.
If you want
there.
that Oztag final, a bit more prestigious, I think.
Yeah.
Might cut myself.
Yeah.
All righty. Now, the primary changes. I'll start with you, Spy. I will say, and News Corp have confirmed, it's not actually a stat on NRL, at least not that we can see when you go to NRL.com and Match Centre, and that is try contributions. But the 4-point try contributions, they will remain, which is great. Try assists, line break assists, tackles, they're the big three. Start with try assists and line assists, mate. Talk to us.
Yep, that's the big one. So to keep it really simple, we'll run a couple of scenarios. Fullbacks used to benefit the most. They will now, generally speaking, lose the most. Centres will gain the most, and they used to get stitched up a bit, in fairness to centres. So if we run an example, Tommy Turbo does it a lot. He'll run a sweep line out the back of a lead runner, create a 3-on-2 overlap, tip onto the centre, who will either score or pass to their winger. Typically, that used to go to Tommy Trbojevic or the fullback for creating the overlap.
By typically, essentially always.
Nearly always. So the centre throwing that last pass, because it was already a 2-on-1 and they just had to tip on and draw and pass, they didn't get rewarded with a try assist, line break assist. They now will. And the fullback, I'm assuming, probably gets a contribution, 4 points. That'll be my guess.
Yeah, they will.
It basically flips. It totally flips. The centre now gets rewarded for that last pass. The fullback won't. There'll still be instances where Tommy will throw a cutout ball to the winger and stuff. So fullbacks are still in the game for try assists. It's just that typical shape where they run out the back and tip onto the centre. somewhere like where Reece Walsh runs through, we'll get to him later, but he's probably less effective because he either throws a bullet cut out to the winger or has created so much space, Shibasaki scores anyway.
And in the Tom Trbojevic example where he sweeps and hits Garrick, who hits sub kind of thing, previously Tommy Trbojevic would get 20 points for that. Garrick probably gets 4 points for it as a contribution. As you said, it flips. So Garrick will now get 20, and Turbo would get the 4. And the important one to note as well, it's the line break assist as well, not just the try assist.
Yep.
And I think another important one to note, and we're going to get to the players that benefit and all that, and players are undervalued as a result, players are overvalued as a result. This is going to change, like it's going to level out.
Yeah,
pretty quickly. Like, I don't know, Rando, it might be around 6 or around 7, whatever it might be. But once the centres get the value they should be, once fullbacks drop to where they should be, once that happens, it's game on again.
That will be exciting, that period.
Things will level out.
Yeah.
The first 10 rounds, much like any start to an NRL Supercoach season, it's up in the air. You don't know how teams are going to perform. Is Reece Walsh going to have that same sort of aura around him, around his points? Like, it completely changes. It's just a bit more different, obviously, with the price difference changes. As you mentioned, that line break assist, there is no line break contribution. So that is points completely lost. It's 8 wiped. At least with the try assist, you can confidently say most of them will go to a try contribution as a replacement. So it's kind of half, but you do miss that full 8 points as a fullback, creating that line break assist to begin with. So
You might be 60 metres out, fullback creates 3-on-2, they get nothing, centre gets 8. So, absolutely relevant.
Yeah.
Well, one of the great ones is going to be when people have their milestone games and like some bloke cuts through, beats forward, does all that, draws and passes the fullback, which would be, try assist or that sort of good things. And then they go along and then Jake Trbojevic is popping along for his 300th game or something. They just tip on and the bloke that tips it on gets the try assist. But we'll have fun and frustration with
Cody
that.
Nikorima for any milestone games, guys. Just watch him.
Cody's
Just watch
the
him.
man.
Cody's the man.
Load up on him.
He likes it. He likes passing it.
All right. Spy, that's try assist, that's line assist. As I said, pretty self-explanatory. It's the last passer. Very easy to follow. Rand, I'll throw to you for tackles. You know what? I'll explain tackles and we'll get to some more specific examples shortly. But essentially with tackles, players are going to be awarded more tackles. So under the NRL.com system, or the NRL stats system, I should say, they tend to award the third man into tackles a hell of a lot more. So, and you'll have the stats shortly, Rando, but blokes like Payne Haas and Terrame might have an extra 4, 5, 6 tackles per game. Under the old scoring system of Fox Sports, it was the first 2 tacklers in, and a lot of the time they wouldn't credit the third man as a tackler and the stat wouldn't count. So, again, we'll get to it, but hookers, front rowers, back rowers, etc., forwards who have big tackle counts, they're generally going to be the big winners in that one. Now, Rando, one that I'll throw to you, a lot of conjecture around hit-ups and then any other hit-ups, run meets, all these sorts of things, because NRL assesses runs extremely differently to what Fox did.
Yep.
Massive change. This is what Supercoach NRL have come out this afternoon just before the show and clarified it, their post. We wish to clarify the definition of a run under the new statistics system. A run is recorded when a ball carrier advances into or through the defensive line, essentially making contact with the player. This includes cases where the player is tackled or beats defenders without being touched, e.g. intercepts or line breaks. Third point, line engagements will not be recorded as runs. So under the NRL system, where Nathan Cleary would go in, he'd attract a defender, play out the back, he'd get run meters for that, which is where a lot of the hysteria came from around this. So essentially, mate, we're not expecting too much, according to this post, change to hit-ups and runs.
Absolutely. This is a great post to clear a lot of people's minds. When you've ever looked at NRL.com versus maybe just Supercoach in general, but if you have been able to see Fox Sports stats, you can see there's a huge change in difference, particularly between the halves because of those line engagements. Now, if you don't know what a line engagement is, it's when a ball player takes it to the line and basically breaks the line. Isaiah Katoa is the king at it. Any highlight reel you see him take it into the line, puts the defender at in 2 minds, and he carries on. In fact, he had 246 line engagements last season. The next bloke, Nico Hines, had 170. That's how good he was at this stat. But that doesn't matter anymore because they have clarified there that this is going to be similar to the Supercoach run definition. So that only changes, the spreadsheet warriors who were trying to crunch the numbers, looking at runs for halves and meters as well, because that is a massive discrepancy. You would see that players like Nathan Cleary, Nico Hines, and Cam Munster, their average meter averages would be 50 meters different comparing NRL to Fox Sports stats. But now this run clarification, which was only dropped a couple of minutes ago or before we just recorded, that changes all of that, which means there isn't going to be a huge difference, hopefully, that we know in terms of hit-ups, run meters. Well, let's see how that plays out. We just can't define it right now. You can't define 8+ meters or 8 less meters. That's not a thing that the NRL fantasy system uses. It's just the NRL fantasy uses meters, divide it by 10, you get 1 point for each that. So if you ran 300 meters, you get 30 points.
Yep.
So we don't know how that's all going to play out, and that's the beauty of starting round one, everyone on a fresh slate. But this clarification is very good.
Yeah, very well done there. And a big thing, because that would have changed the complexion of the game entirely. So thrilled with that one. On to the potential winners and losers. Now, we will chat about a few players here, but namely around positions. Shout out to Jay Schubert with a brilliant article on the SC Playbook website when this all broke, and he put up the projected prices and changes and what the averages would have been last year under the NRL system and what their prices starting this year would have been under the NRL system. It's a ripper, updating it as we speak. That website, that article, I should say, with what that looks like, but will be coming again shortly. But Rando, I'll throw to you, and as we sort of mentioned before, but centres are the big winners out of the new change.
Absolutely, and that's an obvious one. They get the credit now for line break assists, for try assists. The big ones are Moses Sully, Isaac Tungo, Stafford Toa. Everyone's going to love this. Herbie Farnworth as well. They are the main winners there. They have increased 100+ points through try and line break assists, NRL based on Fox Sports. What is interesting to see how these guys rise to the top, it means that when Tom Trbojevic swings around the corner, he's not creating a line break assist for that centre to go through. The centres basically catch passing, and that's why he gets the line break assist and then the try assist. So that is huge news, that left edge. What that means away, the losers, obviously your halves and your fullbacks who don't get that line break assist, as I mentioned. So big news for Moses, Sully, Tungo, and Toa and Herbie as well, because any team that you see score tries on the wingers, attack those centres. I think that's just a game plan you got to see. Find out how many wingers are scoring tries, because I'm going to say 70% of those tries are created from that centre.
Yeah, massive. So it brings, and we'll get to sort of Spies team reveal at the back end of the show, which will touch on a lot of these guys that are coming in and out of teams, but someone like Herbie, and we'll have the exact figure hopefully tonight on site, but at least in the next couple of days, you're looking at a price difference of like, you know, potentially 50, 60, 70K on what they actually should be. That would be their, you know, their discount. So
Can I just quickly say, anyone who's listening and you might be a casual fan, new to the game, going, what the hell are they talking about? Don't worry about it. We'll get you some info and you'll be able to go, oh, that makes sense. I see what's going on.
Pick the players you like.
Yep. Still pick the players you like, but
like
don't panic.
Don't panic.
We're going full nerd mode on it, but basically all you need to know is, first and foremost, don't stress, but as we get into positions now when you're picking your teams, centres are the big winners out of this.
Yeah. Centre's good.
And I don't mean CT dub, centre wingers. I mean centres. Wingers, there won't be much change, if anything at all, really. The losers, we'll get to losers in a second. Rando, hookers and forwards are other winners off the back of the tackle count chat.
Absolutely. The tackle count change definitely changes that up. Also, the runs and run meters can also increase that too. But basically, your big dogs, Terrell May, Isaiah Yeo finally gets rewarded for all the hard work he does. I look at players like him and Pat Carrigan together, who are such workhorses. You might see it on the VB, what they call it, hard-earned index. That's going to become a lot more relevant to these players now, because usually you look at them and go, they're not Supercoach relevant. What the hell? How are they ranking up points? Well, this will definitely reward them a lot more. So I really do like Terrell May, Isaiah Yeo, the hookers as well. Blake Brayley makes a ton of tackles. Reed Marnie makes a ton of tackles. Bailey Hayward will get that number 9 spot. He had the third most points difference from tackles made too. So keep an eye on him, because he wasn't a full-time hooker either. Keep that in mind. So Payne Haas and Pat Carrigan, as I mentioned, also big winners from that. There's no losers from the tackle change. Not at all. I don't think many players lose a tackle. So it's only positive for everyone, but the ones who make the most tackles, even more so.
Yep. And lucky last on this list, fullbacks, as we mentioned, they're going to be the big losers, and I say to a lesser degree halves, but like there's a few halves on your list in particular that will be significantly disadvantages. So again, but when you get 5-6 rounds into the season and these numbers sort of even out a little bit, nothing will overly change. But in terms of starting prices, fullbacks and a few halves are the ones impacted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your Scotty Drinkwaters, Tom Trbojevic, we mentioned him basically this whole show. So if you haven't gotten the hint, he's a tough one. James Tedesco gets a slight price change down as well. And then, as you mentioned, lesser degree the halves because they are running the ball a fair bit. They're not getting that line engagement anymore, but to be fair, they'll still make up those points because they touch the ball a lot more. So it could all even out. I think, what did they say? It was like a 0.11% overall change in scores. So, if someone has a good game, if fullback has a great game, you're going to see it. It's going to reflect on their score.
Yep.
So it's
they're not dead and buried.
They're not dead and buried. Yeah, they're not going to get 20s every game.
Yeah. They're just statistically starting underpriced.
Yes, exactly.
Overpriced,
that's what we need to mention. When we say they're losers, they're not. That doesn't mean you can't have them in your team, and they can't mean that they're not going to perform well.
Yep. So, well summarised, mate. As I said, we've already got a ton of articles explaining all of this, the winners, the losers, the players, the changes, all sorts of stuff at scplaybook.com.au. And again, that's what we're here to do, is make life easy for you and do all the digging and the deep dives for you. So go and check that out. What I've had Matty, the Waterboy, doing over in the fringes over there, the flanks, is as a more casual player of NRL Supercoach, although I suspect that's going to change this year. He's going to nerd out with us, and he's been beginning to do it in recent years. He's jotted down any questions that he has. So, Matty, was there anything that maybe we haven't explained properly or anything you have? What do you got?
No, it was all quite good. I guess, like, more tactically, because like this year's going to be, because they haven't changed the prices, right? This year's going to be kind of how to abuse the rules and how to abuse the low prices and value, blah, blah, blah. So, like, obviously the age-old question with you guys in Supercoach is, do you chase money or do you chase points? But is that going to change this year? Is it like you have to go with the money, right?
So, good question. And my suspicion, boys, around squad value, and I emphasise that you still have to make the right decisions and pick the right people. But because we're going to be able to see who is, as you said, at least statistically undervalued and players that are overvalued, I think cash generation and maximising squad value should, in theory, correct me if I'm wrong, be a lot easier, right?
Should be easier. Yeah. And I also think that still allows you to start with a couple of guns, and maybe those guns might be slightly overpriced, but does it matter? You get them in, like a gun fullback who might be down 5%, but can still have those massive games. You can plug a couple in who your end game guys without going, how am I going to afford them later? Because I think it's going to be easier to see. I'm guaranteed to make cash in most positions, so should be easier. And you've still got to use your trades right. So the more people that you start with that are end game fellas for your run home, the less trades you have to make to get there. So I think that's a really good discussion for next week. How does value versus trades come into it? Because I reckon it's a really good discussion around if you start with, let's use Cleary as an example. You can start with Cleary, then you've got Cleary. You don't have to work your way up to him and use trades, and you make your cash around him. It could go for any other gun, but you know what I mean? That's sort of a bit where my head's at.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, even for the casual who's probably trying to do all this maths in the head, Zach Galifianakis style from Hangover, I think there's a lot of cheapies anyway that are going to rise in value. You know, you've got your David Fafita's, Cam Murray's, you've got, all these new players starting in the half, Sanders, you've got Pezzett, you've got Moses, who's undervalued to an extent
Kinney
as well. Kinney, There's so many players just in general that can just cash gen that. Yeah. You're probably not even missing out. Obviously, listen to the SC Playbook podcast and find the certain players that you want to gain value. But there's so many young guns out there who are going to come up. Josh Patson, another one. The Dragons wingers. So many players. There's plenty of chances to cash gen, even if you are a bit confused on how it all works out.
Yep. Nicely done. Matty, anything to add?
Just one more. Mm-hmm. So I think I had a fullback as my flex last year for the entire year.
Yep.
It'll probably end the year the same because obviously, like, even though they're going to get a few points.
Already a great question.
Yeah. There's going to be a few points less, but fullbacks are still going to be good. But to start the year, that's going to change, right?
I'll field that one, Matty, if you like. Last week, my side's pretty set. I've just had a little tinker in my flex. I've had a front rower, a fullback, and a halfback all in there. So I think especially to start the season, it really opens up the flex.
And I think the one I thought you were going to say straight off the bat a centre.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like I think there's a huge case, especially because there are some really good cheapie CT dubs as is. And then we're thinking that a lot of the primo CT dubs, or even mid-rangers, are undervalued. I think you could throw a CT dub in flex. So
absolutely
it's good that it blows that wide.
Yeah, so that's fun. I like that.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention as well, because I was looking, I haven't seen this bloke's name the entire time I've been searching up the comparisons and stuff. Walsh. Only a 2-point difference in average. No one said that. No one's been talking about him, but just keep that in mind.
Of course, like when every fullback drops down significantly, Walsh just happens to be the exception to the rule.
Mate, he must be making those tries. He just deletes, because Shibasaki doesn't pass it, let's be honest. So
You got Shibas who keeps scoring.
Shibas scores and Stags.
Or he throws the cutout.
Yeah.
Like, he just creates so much space. Often the centre doesn't have to pass it.
Anyway,
So,
just
yeah.
want to drop that there.
Yeah.
Drop that there.
Yes, interesting. Guys, said the beauty is we still do have 3 or so weeks, 2.5 weeks until the season does kick off. So we'll answer all your questions there in the Discord. I did a live Q&A when this broke last week on Thursday evening with all the subscribers there, and it was really good. Got in the chat, a bit of video up there for a while, a few teething things, me trying to work it out, how to get the video going, etc. But we got there very quickly. So more of that, and we'll, if you're on YouTube watching, put your questions in the comments. We can jump in and answer them there, but we will get to questions, Q&A pods, all that sort of stuff in the remaining weeks leading into the season. Guys, our Unlimited League, take us on. If you think you can knock off the SC Paper Crew, there's $1,000 up for grabs. Our Unlimited League code is 479007. We are also creating a bunch of SC Playbook exclusive leagues via our Discord community. Contributors jumping in to determine who the best league is. Check out the leagues channel for more info. Shout out to Brett for working his magic out there as well. He's doing God's work for us. That Discord, if your subscription is active, all you have to do, guys, go to your account on our website and click Connect Discord. That should get you straight into there. If there's any issues, just log in and out of your Discord and then go back and go Connect Discord. You can, of course, get access to that, our premium content for every sport, and a ton more for less than $2 per week with our subscription. To subscribe, head to scplaybook.com.au and click subscribe in the menu. AFL, the boys, the podcast is going live tomorrow in an absolutely ripping studio down in Melbourne. Ooh. It's a corker, some fancy stuff. So check that one out tomorrow, and that goes live as well if you're into your Supercoach AFL. The subscription, less than $2 per week. Alrighty, boys, team list Tuesday. Now, we're not going to spend tremendous amounts of time on this, just going to go through each team. So this bit of a live look for the Spy, who's tweaking his team itself right before the start of the show. But at the Dolphins, we won't go through player by player, but nothing too much to touch on there. We'll get our first look on Aussie soil, at least from an NRL perspective, on Morgan Knowles, starting at lock. Anything else to touch on there, boys? Tommy Flegler, we're going to get a look at as well.
Flegler, Gilbert, and I assume we're about to go to the Titans, but that back line for the Titans is what I'll be looking at very closely.
Yep. So the one there, and the Titans who have named they've basically named their second string team, give or take a handful of players. Cooper Bye, we're going to have a look at starting at lock, who's going to be a popular option to start the season. But Fiamani, the winger, who has been tipped, reports that he's leading the charge to start on the wing. I don't love him, Spy, getting named in this squad. And again, let me preface this whole segment of it's trials. It doesn't mean everything. Players might have niggles and be playing less time or off the bench. They might be getting minutes into blokes who are coming back from injury, whatever, but I don't love it for him.
Yeah, until I see a team that's clearly the first grade squad and you're not in that, I don't worry until that point in time, to be honest.
At the Raiders, again, not one to read into too much, but it was very interesting. Savelio Tamale named at centre in a really weak side. So I don't know what's changed. I'd imagine probably not a lot's changed. They might just want to see Tamale at centre and get him a bit of time there. But very interesting one there, Rando. Anything else to add in a pretty weak Raiders outfit?
I reckon the big one here, I thought there was a lot of raps about Sione Finau coming through, particularly at centre, but Mark Tuiali getting the start before him. Yes, it's the first trial. That might be the case. But that's a very interesting call there from Ricky. We get to see Owen Paddy in the number 9 jersey. That would be a good look. And with Tamale's move, I've looked through their depth chart for the centres for the Raiders. Not much between Tamale, Tuali, Chris, what's his other name? Tomoko and Finau. So they're the only 5 centres realistically. So I think Ricky's just trying to get reps.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Shout out to Supercoach 2025, highest average Joe Roddy at 13 with a one game of 106.
Yes. One game, scored a double from memory, mate.
Yep. Averages 100 for his career in Supercoach.
Tell you what, he's off contract, and I think your Oztag team's going after him.
Retire now, Joe. He's finished with the best average of all time.
Is he a big game player? That's all I care
We're about
about.
to find out.
At the Melbourne Storm, the only sort of main one here, boys, for me, was the naming of Atavalu Lasati on the edge. That being said, it's kind of, you almost put a line through it because Trent Loiero, who's suspended for the first 2 rounds, Lasati, who we're sort of thinking, does he start at lock? Does he start on the edge? But, I mean, the fact that he's starting on the edge, I'd much prefer him there than having been in the middle. I think that bodes well, Rando, for him starting the edge round 1.
Yeah, definitely. I think that looks like he has that edge spot. If he starts on the right edge, even better. If he's left edge, then maybe he might be covering a spot.
Yeah. At the North Queensland Cowboys. Now, they have named a full-strength squad or thereabouts, and a few major talking points here. Randall, we had to see Helam Lukey again, who was a big eye-catcher on the weekend, one that scored a try very early on, and you don't need to do much to get Helam Lukey into my Supercoach team. So 5 minutes into that game, pricked the ears, caught the eyes, whatever you want to call it. Mate, it is Jackson Purdue at centre. We know Tom Chester's got an injury niggle and is in doubt for round 1. Do you read anything into, as a Cowboys fanatic, if Purdue's playing halves round 1 in Vegas, surely you want to play him in the halves and working with Tommy Dearden or getting reps into Clifford?
Watching the trial game, it was Jake Clifford couldn't have done any more than he did. He was everywhere. He was on the left. He was on the right. Jackson Purdue, I was a bit disappointed with his play in the halves. He played a lot like he did last year. He was very hesitant, just catch pass, didn't take the line on in any situation. I think this is the team. Hallelujah. Just keep Clifford and Dearden as the halves for the time being. And if that doesn't work, then we can start experimenting. But I think Purdue is centre. I think this confirms the Vegas lineup. I don't think they're changing too much from that. Very big surprise, Sammy Mack on the edge over John Bateman, but not really too much of a Supercoach thing, but more of a thing to perk your eyes up.
Yeah, so say Tommy Chester's fit. Is your read he won't play?
He won't play, no. I think he needs some reps in his legs. He'll go through reserve grade. He's coming back from an ACL injury, hasn't played any footy at all, so I think it makes sense for him to... Hopefully he goes over to Vegas and has a good time, but I think it's Queensland Cup for a couple of weeks.
Okay. Spy, anything to add? Or
I have a massive thing to add. Who's the number 14 there, boys? Sonny Luke, which spells trouble for Reed Money.
Yeah, yep.
Just in terms of minutes for Reed Money, popular selection in the hooker jersey for our Supercoach sides. If Sonny Luke's generally looked at as the 14, we have no idea what his minutes are going to be in round 1, which is a big concern.
If Sonny Luke's on the bench, you can't start Reed Marnie, I don't think.
I was thinking about this. I think in a 19-man bench, he'll be 14.
Yeah, somewhere.
Always 14.
Yep.
But honestly, what I saw from Mason Barber on the weekend, I reckon he might, and the way that the Cowboys attack, and they're so attack dominant, their defense is already a shambles. I think Mason Barber might play more minutes or get the game time that Sonny Luke would have, and they might give Reed Marnie a few 80-minute roles, but you can't see much.
When you have these attacking weapons, like as you said, they're all out attack the Cows.
Yeah.
Scott Drinkwater, if Jackson Purdue ends up in the halves as well, Tommy Dearden, so many points in them. Edges of Lukey and Nanai when he returns from injury. Wow. We saw Sonny Luke not work at the Panthers at top level because they need a Mitch Kenny number 9 who is just distribute. Don't try and create. We don't need you to. We've got the stars around you. He was like player of the year in New South Wales Cup and killed it, but didn't work at the top level. I feel like the Cowboys are a similar vibe, right?
Yeah, and Reed Marnie is Mitch Kenny. He's distribute. He doesn't jump out a dummy half at all.
And to a lesser degree, Reece Robson.
Yes, exactly. Runs a bit when he can, but yeah, I'll be very interested to see. And Sonny Luke came in January, very late into the preseason. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting watch to see what minutes he gets. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 40-40. But yeah.
Come round 1, obviously. Very, very close watch.
Very close.
At the Penny Panthers, they've named a Reggie's outfit, so don't look into that one too.
Kalani going. Keep an eye on him. Number 12.
He's got 19th man written all over him for a long time. and he'll just get games and he's going to cause some headaches, I think. So at the Warriors, Leka Halasima named at centre. Make of that what you will.
Have fun, Josh Feldy, young Tiger.
Yes.
He's gone to Manly now.
That. Poor
I just got
bugger.
to try. I've got to, oh, God, it's lekker.
The Pommy Morgan Gannon on the edge there. We got to look at him for the Wars as well. I mean, we can do two teams at once, really. Probably should have done that from the start. At Manly, not a lot other than we got to look at Joey Walsh, one of the most exciting prospects in the game, young half.
And Honor Tony Large, also hugely hyped, playing together. I'll watch that trial just to see those two blokes have a run around.
The other one's Simeone, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Laiafi.
Yep, nice.
Big raps on him. Well, got it, you reckon?
You got it. I reckon that's it.
Is it from out your way, mate? Beaches?
Laiafi, yeah.
Thanks.
Nice.
But
He's a
yes,
surfer.
so a big... He's a surfer?
Yeah, big surfer.
It's cool. Talented man. Watches there more than anything for the future. Tigers and Roosters at the Tigers. Hamasi Makasini, speaking of prodigies, the young winger, named at centre, which I found a little interesting. All reports that he's the front runner to start on the wing at the Tigers. They've got the round one bye. It does make me a little bit nervous, named at centre in what, almost entirely reserve grade outfit.
Probably find out next week.
And
Second trial.
And I was also about to say, from his perspective, top grade, playing amongst men, just getting games under the belt, bit of time in the top grade. And at the Roosters, I mean, not too much to add. Anything for those two teams, boys?
I reckon someone who's slept on the radar, and I didn't even know he was back in the NRL, but Patrick Herbert playing his first game since throwing that pass into the touchline against the Roosters in that qualifying final. Obviously, the PTSD has passed, and he's back, and he's playing centre. Had to double check that was the same Patrick Herbert, but that is. So can't wait to see how he goes.
Paddy Herb back for the teams.
Yeah, maybe not a good super coach for the assists.
Knights and Doggies at the Knights, a spine of Fletcher Sharp, Dill Brown, Sharp 1, Dill Brown 6, Sandon Smith 7, finished across the net 9. No Kalen Ponga. The big one here, boys, Thomas Cant, named to start on the edge. The goal-kicking back rower. Jermaine McEwen on the interchange bench. You mentioned pre-show, Rando, that McEwen, who was pulled out late of the other trial last week, he's under a bit of an injury cloud. So, I mean, there's a few things you can take from that, sure.
Yeah, Fletcher Sharp, Kalen Ponga obviously being rested. Fletcher Hunt, Dane Gagai, I think he put up with a hammy, but he'll be okay for round one. And obviously, as you mentioned, Thomas Cant just getting the start because McEwen did go down with the calf just before the game, so it's just a precaution. Wouldn't be surprised if McEwen is even potentially rested or gets very minimal minutes.
Before I throw to you, Spy, Matty Burton and Lockie Galvin in the halves at the Dogs. Jacob Kiraz nowhere to be seen. That's something. Just because...
Yep.
Gus Good on Twitter threw something out about maybe a bit of a niggle or something going on. Just the fact that he's not being named in what's a very strong Doggies outfit, far less than ideal. At the very least, he plays in Vegas, and I'd be surprised if he was 100%. What are your major takes sort of from those two teams? Probably the trial of the weekend as well. It's going to be a good one.
Looking forward to that one. I'd say Kiraz in Vegas, if he's named, he's not playing unless he's 100%. It just will not happen. There's no point. So if he's named, I wouldn't be concerned, but obviously if he misses out, it makes decisions for a lot of people far easier. Dylan Brown in the 6 jersey is huge because I'm currently banking on him entirely as being my 5'8" in Supercoach. And I haven't even considered otherwise, so I'll have to reshuffle the decks if he's not. So hopefully get given that. We'll find out probably round 1, I guess, once real teams are named.
Dragons and Bunnies. Bunnies have named a Reggie's outfit. Warden Glover in the halves there, which is an interesting one for round 1 in terms of that halves race with Jamie Humphrey suspended for the first couple of rounds. At the Dragons, though, a few tellers there. Setu 2 named on the wing once again with Christian Tui Palotu. This will see David Farley. He's named in the reserve. So my suspicion would be that Setu 2 is the cheapie that people are going to be running with in round 1 in Vegas. Tui Palotu obviously shrugged off any concerns of injury there being named on the wing once again. Edge back rows, boys Luciano Leilua and Jaden Sewer. One that sort of caught the eye late last year, promising rookie Jacob Halengahu all the way down in jersey number 23. He's about 360 odd K, really awkwardly priced. He needed to be starting to be relevant, so a line through him, not a line through him, but not ideal for him. Hamish Stewart, he's been named in the 14 as well with Sele in 13. Rando, anything to touch on?
One thing I was looking at here, Bronson Garlick in the 13 jersey. I don't think he gets that 9 start, but very interesting watch, 14 to 19, if he's named there. He could be a middle forward as well as a hooker rotation option. I think that's what Wayne's doing here. They've got many talented middle forwards, and I'd love to get Matty the Waterboy's thoughts on Garlick there at 13. But a very interesting play with that.
Super interesting. I actually had him as a real potential to start at number 9 for South this year. South is in his blood, so I always thought that he'd be a good chance at 9. So, yeah, for him to start at 13, you're right, it's a watch.
It's a watch.
Sharkies and Eels, not a heat there. Liam Ison getting run at fullback. Excited to see him. He'll heap pressure on Will Kennedy this season. A relatively strong forward pack, but all in all, not the strongest one. Sammy Stonestreet, he'll be in a hit out with Michael Gabriel and a few others there to start on the wing in place of the injured Ronaldo Mulitalo. At the Eels, Russell Simonton there basically going toe-to-toe for a spot in the Eels backline for round 1. We'll go to look at Jonah Pizzette for the Eels for the trial there. Hopgood starts. Riley Smith starts ahead of Talon De Silva. They've got Kautoga and Tuolangi on the edges. Spy, anything to add on that game?
Nothing to add.
Rando?
Just another 13, interesting one. Toby Rudolph there in the middle. One to watch as well. See if that... Because Jesse Colin, that would be the biggest insult if he's off the bench, because I think a few people are looking at him.
Good point. They know Jesse Colhoun in a pretty weak lineup. I said the pack's decent.
The pack is decent.
But even then, ULA and Hazleton, they play off the bench. So there are no real...
Yeah, and Burns and Talakai will come off the bench as well.
Correct. So I think that's probably a win for Jesse Colhoun.
Maybe.
All righty, guys, coming into 2026, make sure you get your financial goals sorted for the year in style. In fact, it's the 10th of Feb. You should have them sorted by now. But if you haven't, and you're looking to get into the housing market for the first time this year, get the journey started by booking in with the team at Mortgage Choice SCW. You might be making the leap into the investment market or saving some cash by refinancing your current loans. Whatever it is you're after, Paddy and the team at Mortgage Choice Sutherland, Cronulla and Wollongong, they'll get you started on the right foot. Best of all, it's free of charge because you're listening to this podcast. Simply mention SC Playbook when you get in touch and you get a free consult worth $129. To do so, hit them up on Instagram at mortgagechoice_SCW or buzz them on 02 9521 1611. Spy, you're going to froth this. Had a coffee with Paddy the other day. Like, oh, what's the best way to integrate you? He loves his Supercoach. Not very good at it. And we can talk about this later on in the preset. We'll talk about it when he comes on the show. But my theory I raised a few years ago about not picking your round 1 team, entering your team from round 2 and knowing all the ins and outs. And I reckon you could give a serious nudge to the overall title. You could be a mile off, but I reckon there's a play in it. I think Paddy's going to be the test dummy.
He's going to have a crack.
1,200 points. Chaseable. Very chaseable.
Heaps chaseable. And think about all the trades you save by knowing the ins and outs of week 1.
Especially if it was like a 900-point week as well.
Might make a burner account.
Yeah.
Just do that.
I'd love to.
I was going to say, but careful if you're going to win it, but you're not going to beat me, so it's all right.
Yeah,
started in second week's my team name.
Yeah. Keep under the radar. Anyway, more on
That's
that
exciting.
later.
That's
but
exciting.
I'm all for it. I'd love to do it myself.
We said it last year. Someone's got to do it and reach out and go, I'm doing it.
Well, no, we've got it. Paddy's doing it, mate.
Yeah, well, he hasn't committed yet, so I want backups.
You've spoken to him.
It's got to happen.
He's committed. Don't you worry about that. All right, Spy, now's your time for the limelight. So
Jesus, it's taken long enough.
You didn't wait your turn, but we're here now. All right, let's start at the top. Hookers, Blake Brayley and Brandon Smith. Blake Brayley, you're going all out on little number 9, who will get a boost with the defensive stats.
Yeah, it doesn't get much. I've got to look into why. Maybe he lost a couple of try assists while getting the extra tackles. But
surely he keeps those try assists, though. They're just...
He's literally the last pass.
For some reason, he's not up much on this new,
the
latest. But obviously, as very important to say, this just got released 10 minutes ago before we got in. So there'll be a bit of new information to get my head around over the next week.
of Salto.
But I think it's not going to be that far off where I'm going to land.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I like Blake Brayley is he averaged 83 over the last 11 regular season games last year, which is when he got that tick of approval to run the footy. He's young, he's on the up. Is there any reason why he can't average 80-odd again? No. So I kind of want to back him in. The issue is Harry Grant gets a big boost as well under the new tackles regime. So I've got a big decision out of those two. I've traditionally had issues at hooker, and that is an understatement of the century. Remember Robson a couple of years ago was good for me. I got that one right. But then any time I ever try to bring Harry, I did Marshall King. They've dead set lasted 20 minutes both games. So Just locking in one of Blake or Harry to start the
Don't
year.
you bloody get Blake Brayley injured, mate. He hasn't missed a game in about 6 years.
One of the greats.
If hooking is your woes
If
spot,
someone can break the hooking curse, it's Blakey.
He's an age, far out. Don't do
Blake or Harry anyway with Brandon on the bench. That's what I'm doing.
Just to clarify from the chat about the try assist, you were right. He did go down in try assist, but he's made up for it in tackles because his NRL average is now four times +4 from his Supercoach.
Yep.
You know where, and
I thought might be more.
I'm thinking completely off the top of the head, but I wonder, like especially the back end of the season when he was running and cutting teams in half, getting the line break, like drawing and passing a fullback to someone who then passed again. I bet there was a few of them.
Maybe that's a good point. Yeah, but either way, what we've got is that he doesn't change much.
Did the change to the system spy? Bring into mind guys like Reid Marnie, Jake Simpkin, Bailey Hayward, who a lot of these guys who will add a lot of tackle points and are undervalued. Did you think of them as like a stepping stone, or are you happy to lock in the gun?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on Reid if we knew he was playing 80. Absolutely. What I'm trying to do a little bit is pick some key guys who I'm going to end the year with, ideally all being healthy in some key positions, and Hooker's one of them. And I just think with that ability to pick up value across the board, why not just start with a gun?
Mate, I've just seen your front row. I'm looking at your team for the first time. You're taking the piss, aren't you?
The fourth one.
The fourth, you got Royce Hunt.
He scored.
After what he did to us last year.
Do you remember the last game of the year? Fired up.
Yeah,
and I played him.
He scored 2 tries.
He scored 73 in 18 minutes.
Might not be too bad. I was looking at Fox Sports.
And he's fit.
Every player from each club under pressure. The Tigers' lead one was Royce Hunt.
Jeez, they're in a good place if that's the biggest bloke under pressure.
Fox Sports have taking the piss.
You
too.
Seriously got Royce Hunt.
He's in for a big year.
I don't really care into a team list. It's my fourth front row. I'll pick that later.
Payne Haas Payne Haas speaks for himself, mate. Jermaine Hopgood is an interesting one. Dual 2-hour front row forward, 517k. Paseka's the other on the bench. We've spoken at nauseam about him. Jermaine Hopgood, though.
Hopgood used to be a stud. Hurt his back pretty badly. Didn't come back all that well from it, or they eased him in. And back end of last year, I know exactly what it was, 8 or 10 games, he played front row, decent minutes, and he averaged, I don't have it in front of me, but it was good numbers, 65, might have been 65 plus, but I think he might be able to get back to somewhere near his best. Even that 65 at that price would be pretty handy, so he's leading the charge at the front row. I do like Nafahu White. I think he could have just a monster season, so I might slide there. But at the moment, I think Hopgood presents value. He has extra tackles on the new NRL stats system as well, so he's ticking some boxes. He's dual position. I like him at the moment.
Love to see his role and what that looks like with JDB there at lock.
Yep.
Yeah,
well. That's a big thing. So that's there's a wait and watch there, but
we'll see.
But as you mentioned, flew at the end of the season.
Yeah.
He averaged 53 minutes per game last season. We know, like the years prior, 53 points in 53 minutes last year. The years prior, 67 points in 60 minutes in 24, and back in 2023, 73 points in 66 minutes. So, yeah, the DeBellum one's the interesting one, and how many minutes more than that he can get. But a watch for now, not for me.
Sitting there for the moment.
Now, here's a little change as a result of lease stats. Isaiah Yeo, Dave Fafita, Trey Mooney. Fafita speaks for himself. Your bench is McEwen, Paxton, Lasardi. They speak for themselves.
Yep.
Talk to us about Isaiah Yeo and Trey Mooney.
Yeah, huge boost for Isaiah Yeo. He's the kind of bloke, probably not the worst idea to start the season with him anyway. When it's tough going, he's going to accumulate numbers in tackles and runs. And then as the year goes on, you probably look for that upside. But yeah, he seems to have about a 10% boost based on the new stats, which is pretty handy. So undervalued, reliable, and just that kind of bloke just to do a job those opening couple of months. If he turns into a keeper, great. If he doesn't, he'll make us some money and just get with those stats early and get the boys off to a flyer.
He's almost first pick for me every year, honestly. Just a really consistent player. Everyone else is going up and down. You don't know how they're landing, but Isaiah Yeo, he'll give you 100%.
Just a little glue
time.
Man in the pack.
Literally. He
Just
doesn't
get it
come
done
off.
early.
He doesn't rest at all.
So if you didn't actually read any of the individual numbers around tacklers, did you? You just mentioned it.
I just mentioned the list, yeah.
Yeah, so just to give you a bit of an idea, Terrell May last year, 917 tackles on Fox, 1,023 on NRL stats. That's 106 difference. Isaiah Yeo, he's the second biggest beneficiary. 632 on Fox, 734 on NRL, 102 different. Bailey Hayward, another one who, again, as you said, limited minutes for a lot of the year.
Yep.
568 on Fox, 664 on NRL, and 96 difference. And yeah, as we said, the other big winners, Brayley, Haas, Paddy Carrigan comes into it, Lindsay Smith, Reid Marnie, Reece Robson, Harry Grant. Changes things substantially.
Yeah, and the other thing on Yo Boys is the previous 2 years before last year, he averaged 74 and 69 under the old system.
Yep.
So if you add in those stats, he's up around the 80 mark doing that. And he had a down year last year, Penrith did as a whole. But you better believe they're coming hard this year. So
100%.
Yo's likely to be at the forefront of that. So, yeah, really happy with his selection.
Their defence, they've got it right at the end of last year. Much like Jermaine Hopgood's form at the end of the last year, the Panthers' defence in the end of last year was back to its
Penrith and
dynasty
Para
best.
both in a similar vibe where they're just finding their rhythm again.
Just finding it, yeah, absolutely.
Obviously different levels with Penrith, but Para's maybe headed that way as well.
Yeah.
Halfbacks by Nathan Cleary, $826,000. Is he locked into your team, or what are we looking at?
Before I get clipped up there, Para not headed on a 4 premiership dynasty, but they're on the improve. He was. And it seems under the new stats, he's not badly affected. He's one I really need to get my head around these new stats and just make a decision. But no, there's so many options. I'd love to start Sammy Walker. The fact he's got Cherry Evans there, I think could be a good thing, but it's also a new combination, so we don't know that. Does Cherry kick more on the last, take some assists off him? Sammy Walks is back off. It's his second year from an ACL.
Yeah.
That's huge. Didn't run the footy much last year. So I'm really keen on Sammy. But I just feel like I know what Nathan's going to do, and it's generally awesome. So I just want to lock him in and, again, sort of build a team around him. And that second halfback spot, which is Sanders at the moment, try and get someone really quickly. Even if Sanders makes 100K and cash is flying elsewhere, I might be happy to upgrade early to whoever stands out. It's like an absolute shootout for the other boys. Hines, Walker, Jerome Hughes. It's pretty exciting. Jaden Campbell, they're all in the mix. But at the moment, I've got Cleary. But if I'm desperate for cash, maybe I go down to... I would like Jaden Campbell as well. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. But Cleary for now.
Sammy Walker, I would be dead keen on if he's with Savala.
100%. I would start with him. I just need to see how it plays out first.
Mate, talk us through the Sanders over Dan Atkinson. Is there... I mean, I think a lot. I'm struggling to choose between the two. Why? Is there a reason why Sanders over Atkinson?
All I can tell you is the last stats dive I did for both of them. I did some Reggie stats as well. They were pretty tight, but I just thought Sanders' goal kicking. He's played 4 first grade games where he's had a pretty good base as well, a couple of different times. So look, that could change closer, but at the moment I'm on Sanders, and also I need someone from the milk in there. So got him. Represent the locals.
Very fair, mate. Very fair. All right, moving down to the 5'8" position, a very interesting one. Chanel Harris-Tavita. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I'm all ears. Why?
It's Dylan Brown. That's why he's there. He's just place holding for Dylan.
What if Dylan doesn't get 5'8"?
Oh, I'll be in shambles. I'll figure it out. I'll flip my
just-
side.
just-
You're talking to me like it kicks off tomorrow, boys. So we've got 3 weeks.
I want your round one exact team
Now.
right now. No choice. No
But
changes.
what was the reasoning behind CHT to begin with?
Because he's the exact same price as Brown.
Talk to Dylan Brown.
So as soon as Brown gets 5'8", named in 6 jersey, I'm hoping he does, I'll
Fair
just flip him straight in. It's just easier than having someone at a different price. Also, Chanel. My boy for last year. So, love it. I just want to give him some extra confidence. Dylan Brown, in the Pacific Championships, he was the best I've ever seen him play for a start. New club, he'll have a freedom to do his thing.
Phoenix Crosland giving him the
just
ball off the deck
service.
too.
I think he's a no-brainer pick, to be honest, at 5'8" if he gets named there. Hopefully he does. And as you said, if he doesn't, it's actually really, really difficult because the boys I want are priced a lot higher than...
You're concerned about 2 things. Number one is the quality of the Knights pack and the platform that he's going to have to work off. And secondly, between Sandon Smith, Kalen Ponga, Fletcher Sharp chiming in, wherever that ends up being, a lot of mouths to feed.
Yeah. Previous years, 67, 76, 74. I know it was with Mitch and they were set up beautifully, but 55 last year and just, I just think new club, he'll be fit and firing. But honestly, it's the Pacific Championships that really sold me. He was phenomenal. So brings any of that form, I'm happy to lock him in. Also, early season, he's a base stat beast. He'll run the footy a lot.
Yep.
He makes his tackles, so his 4 is elevated. And we'll decide from there once how quickly I can get to Fletcher Sharp, who I was going to start with, but just can't quite fit him in.
Yeah, I mean, he could start at fullback, then be on the wing by round 2, then be at 14 by round 3. Like,
I might find a way. But
who knows what's going to happen there? Spy, Jonah Pezzett on the bench. Your CT dub, Herbie Farmworth, Cal Iro, Selwyn Cobbo, Setu 2. So your cheapies, again, placeholders if they're there round 1, but you've got Farmani, Setu 2, Chester, Makasini. I'll say firstly that you've gone with the 4 cheapies there, which is interesting. And then your 3 guns, Herbie, Iro and Cobbo. Herbie we've spoken about. Iro and Cobbo, they're a couple of interesting ones, mate. Talk us through it. KL Iro, before we do, one who will benefit. Actually, I'll get his stats up while you're talking, but Iro and Cobbo.
Iro benefits already, and he also had 2 or 3 shortened games last year. In full games, he averaged over 80. So if you add in some extra try assist as his centre, he's probably not that far off 90 in 80-minute games last year. He's a weapon. He's a try scorer. He's a worker. So very happy to start him and get him in. Herbie's similar. Herbie's just a gun. I was pretty keen to start with Herbie before the centres got the kick up in the start system. So he's in. Kiraz was in there, but with the injury cloud and I had to find room for Herbie, he's out for the moment. Plus, the Dogs have an early bye, so it just sort of picked it for me. But again, it won't take me long to get Kiraz in once he's back and firing. Cobbo's the interesting one. It's not even that it's Selwyn Cobbo. That's handy, and he's at a new club and he'll want to prove himself. I'm thinking it's left wing. It's a left wing Dolphins.
It's a gold mine.
At 524k, we saw what all their left wingers did last year. It could be the best left edge. Like, it is absolutely humming. I don't want to go too dramatic there, but it's one of the best I've seen in terms of just ability to create points on the back of Izzy Katoa. Hey, left wing Cobbo, I just reckon. They got a reasonable draw early in the season. He's the perfect guy, I reckon. It's always nice to take a little flyer on someone with a bit of upside, and Cobbo's my boy. If it's not working out early, I'll very quickly find the centre of value. It's not. I'm not stuck with him, but
You obviously want, like any position, you want to nail these centre. I mean, well, he's a winger for what it's worth, but these CT dub picks, in particular these centres that we believe are undervalued, you want to nail them as quick as you can and get them right and not have headaches and not have to change anything. But there are going to be players who are going to get those tip-on try assists, a few of them early, and they're going to skyrocket. You can always move across.
exactly. There's someone will be there saying easiest trade ever.
Sully, Tungo, like one of them will be Jay if you
But hope, and I've said this in the other podcast, but round 6 or 7 is I want to load on Penrith, Alamotti, Casey McLean, these blokes. So someone's got to get me there. I hope it's a couple of Cobbo hat-tricks early.
Guru and I pre-recorded before this, but we have done our positional deep dive coming out Wednesday 3 p.m, and that is CT dub. So we
Be
go
good.
through basically all the options.
Some of your best stuff, you and Roo, the pre-season positional deep dives. I do enjoy it, I must say.
Because it's so early on in the year, we don't hate each other yet. So we're very chipper and happy, and all things are good. By the end of the year, it's like Guru. Fullback, mate, Reece Walsh and Keanu Kinney. Kinney speaks for himself. You're paying up for Reece Walsh. Just, as we said, he's an interesting one. On the new stat, one of the few fullbacks who has very little variance or change.
Yeah, down 2 or 3 points, but it's not dramatic.
I dropped him out of my team. My full team reveal with analysis is on the SC Playbook website. That is since the changes have come in. I cut Walsh because I just don't see a world where start of the season, better defences, all that argument, and then you add in the changes to fullbacks. I was keen on him. Now I'm thinking I'm chasing a bit more value at fullback.
I won't forgive myself if I don't start with him, and he continues on what is the most phenomenal stretch of footy I've ever seen. And anyone who says last year he averaged 56 in the first 6 rounds, he's not even on the same strategy. They're totally different blokes.
Different human being.
Like, he is just, he's got it now. I won't go back over it, but his running game exploded, which leads to a lot of points, and his confidence is through the roof. There's only so many numbers on a footy field, and you have to cover back row or lead lines. You have to cover other blokes. He only needs a sniff, and you cannot stop him.
I just, as you speak, and I think all the listeners out there will be doing the same, I've just got the vision of it going through my head of him just tearing and tearing. I'm just like...
And you know what? If he does start slow, I'll still probably keep him, but it's going to be so far long. There's going to be someone where I go, there you go.
There's a lot of mid-range fullbacks that someone's going to...
I want them to prove to me they deserve a spot in the side.
Panthers, Eels, Storm do scare me as a first three.
Yep.
But then, please, I'll sign up for the Dolphins, Titans, Cowboys in that next 4 to 5, 6. So with probably a price drop.
If he can just continue
Tigers, Bulldogs a bit tough, but yeah.
If he can just continue on what he found in the last couple of months of last year, he's just, I will not have words for the bloke. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Spy, your flex position. Now, I don't disagree with the player choice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him in flex. Halfback, which I think is okay to start the season. I would understand it if you were taking on a little gamble on 3 halfbacks, but you had the 2 cheapies there in Atkinson and Sanders. You've gone Mitch Moses. Talk to us.
Just severely undervalued. He's back. He's humming. His goal kicking is the big one. So if we go to previous year stats, so it says last year he would have lost about 12% based on his average score. But I want to dig into some previous seasons and see what he would have averaged, because where are we here? Mitchell Moses, dead set, disappeared on me.
Good job.
Straight in front of me. Previous season, 64, 68, 70. Gets the goal kicking back. Para, I think he's going to be a good side. That straight away. He doesn't miss many, 10, 12 points. I just think it's an absolute value proposition. Do I want him right now? Is there someone else that could be better? Maybe. I really want Tino on my side badly, and I need to probably find a way to get him in. Maybe I can get the cash up to Tino, who's just he's got that base early, plus the attack and the power and all that.
Would you not consider, like if you're that keen on him, cut Cleary, throw Moses at halfback? I just feel, again, that as we said earlier on when Matty asked the question, but the flex position becomes very fascinating. It's blown wide open, but I don't know. I don't feel like halfback's the spot to use it in.
If I didn't have Herbie and Walsh and Haas and co, I would start Mitch with Cleary in the halves and just forego Sanders as money and just have 2 gun halves. I can't afford that. I'm a little bit locked into Cleary. I think he's going to come out humming in big games like Penrith revenge season. I think he's going to be hot.
To start the season, and look, for what it's worth, I'm still umming and ahhing about Mitch Moses, my starting halfback. I was a bit put off. Thursday, 8 p.m, round 1, Melbourne in Melbourne. Round 2, they've got Brisbane, 8 p.m. up in Brisbane. That is 8 p.m. as well. Dragons round 3, that's fine. Round 4, they've got Penrith away from home. Granted, it's at CommBank. Jeez, it's a tough start to the season. And the Dragons also, who I think their defence will be good.
In the Tigers mould a bit, the Dragons. I think they'll be pretty resilient early, and we don't know where that will go, but at the start they could
The
be
new
good.
halves combo also scares me a bit. Pezet and him, how they're going to operate together.
Yeah, look, my big thing is his running game I love. He's so freaking good for a start. Yeah. But in March, I don't care about Thursday night games at 8 because it's at Suncorp and Amy Park. If that was in the middle of winter at Amy Park, that's like big line through it, but it's warm weather, it's a dry track. Probably it's not raining. Yeah, we'll see. Again, it's a while out, but I like Mitchie at the moment, and I don't really have the funds currently to go too far else, so we'll see. The beauty of the flex is there's a lot of opportunity on the table this year. I could even go to a Farlongo, but I just think I did have him in there, and I flipped it to Mitch the other day, who I just trust because he's Mitch. I know what he's going to do, so we'll see, boys. We'll see.
Alrighty, Spy, as you said, we're going to continue to update these team reveals, not only off the back of pre-season news and injuries and star performances and all sorts of different things, but we'll update the article on the website. Your article will be coming. You've kept the people waiting, I'll tell you that much, after revealing half a team a couple of weeks ago. We hope this week, but your updated team reveal will come as we go. It'll also be updated as we go in the Discord. Guys, if you are a subscriber, go to scplaybook.com.au. Go to your account menu. Go to the menu, go to your account, click Connect Discord, you're in. Boom, how good. Spy, thank you, mate.
Cheers, fellas.
Rando, thank you.
A pleasure. Just one meltdown at the start, but I think I just need to vent because I've been just with my girlfriend who has absolutely no idea what's been happening with me. She's been like, why are you so sad? Why are you always working? But now I've vented, it's all good.
Good to go.
You recovered well.
Recovered well, yeah. I just need to get it out of my system.
Yeah, for what it's worth. Guys, as I said, any questions around it, if you're on YouTube, throw them in the comments. If you're in Discord, tag us in those. We'll be doing a Q&A. I'll do a live one tomorrow night. We'll have the Q&A podcast, questions coming from Discord, potty going out to everyone. That'll be on the Friday. So we'll get to the bottom of it together. But priority above all, don't panic. It's not as big a change as we made it out to be. You'll be fine. Have a great week.